realized that in a previous video I was talking about the American Office, but for those of you who didn't know, that was actually based off of a British show of the exact same name. And actually I happen to have the complete there you go, the complete collection, you could call it, of The Office. And this is actually British. It's the British version. And this is the box set from 2004. So 3 years old, even though it has seen a bit of wear and tear in those 3 years. Yeah, it was actually a gift. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this show. Sorry, just for those of you who didn't see what happened there. So this is actually like a sort of casing, if you will, and that sort of just slides out. And then this is really cool, actually. I like this. You've got this, right? This isn't really a review of the box, it's the show itself, but and then it opens up. There you go. So you've got look at that, hey. Anyways, yeah, so, oh, I followed it up wrong. It's not, anyways, so I wanted to talk about The Office, and I don't want to do what I actually can't follow it up, I'm just gonna leave it here. What I don't want to do is, like, give you a comparison to the US one, right? Because, of course, the US one is still in production, they're still making it. This, though, this is finished. This is done. They have said, yeah, here's your season finale, and we're not coming back. Yeah, and I wanted to, and I will, if you guys want, we'll do a comparison between The Office US and The Office UK, but that'll be for another video. So, what is it about? And would I recommend it? That's really the question. Is it worth your time? The first thing that I will say about The Office UK is it is a sitcom, right? It is by definition a sitcom, but it does sitcomming very, very differently. And I'll be honest, not everyone, I followed it up properly. Not everyone will enjoy this type of sitcom. Why is that? The way The Office works is it doesn't really, it's not a traditional sitcom, you know? It's not like, oh, here are your funny characters and let's just chuck them in weird situations and it's all very funny. It doesn't really, it kind of works like that, sure, kind of, but not really. What really happens is that you have a situation that's made, and the goal of every scene, the goal of every episode is not necessarily to, cause a laugh, but rather the goal of every scene is to create awkwardness, to create this feeling of cringe, to create this feeling of awkwardness. And like the way I would describe it. Sorry, my computer's just on. Give me a second. I don't want it to. The screen to burn out. You know how monitors are. Anyway, the way I describe it is every scene tries to create a moment of awkwardness, right? And if you find that funny, then you'll laugh. But if you don't like the idea of every scene ending with all of the characters staring at each other awkwardly, maybe it's not the show for you. It's not a super old show, so I mean, this is the 2004 box set, but they finished making the show in I think 2003. That's when, and it started off in 2001. So 3 years they did this, and then they stopped. And as far as I know, that's it. No more. So if you don't like awkwardness, if you don't like this idea of people standing around staring at each other saying, wow, did that really just happen? Did he really just say that? Did he really just do that? Then this show isn't for you. I mean, I have found myself smacking myself on the forehead in utter astonishment more times than I've laughed. For some people, this can be very frustrating. I felt kind of frustrated with a few of the situations they had painted. The main guy, David Brent, he's the boss, who was played by Ricky Gervais, who also made the show, which is, I'll show you a picture of him. This guy, by the way, his character is really annoying. Really annoying. Not annoying in an endearing way, but annoying like I want to punch you in the face kind of way. It's not really spoiling if I just tell him about his character. He always wants to be the cool guy, the funny guy, Mr. Popular, but he's really, really not. He's really not. And as soon as somebody says a little joke against him or a criticism against him, he gets very frustrated, very defensive, and kind of mean. So he's a real pain in the ass. Now, as somebody who has watched the whole show, are there any moments that are like just funny and not awkward, but just funny? Yeah, there are a few. There is an interview. There is one, interview that he does with one of the staff members, performance review, and I really like that scene. That was so well done, and it didn't try to be awkward. It didn't. It just tried to be funny, and it worked. It was such a good scene. I laughed very hard, and there are a few moments like that in the show, but not many. The jokes, I will say, are very, very sexual. This is not a show that you watch with your kids. This is not a show. It says M15 plus on the box. Please listen to that. I mean, there is a scene with a vibrating dildo. There is a scene where some people pull down some guy's pants and laugh at it. It's a pretty out there show. And the stuff that they say to each other on the show in regards to some of the innuendos and things, well, let's just say that it could easily chuck somebody in jail. But this. So it says the complete series 1 and 2 and the Christmas specials. If you can see that, right? What does that mean? Well, basically, there are 2 seasons. Each one has, I believe, 6 episodes. So not really long. I can't remember if the episodes are 20 minutes or 30 minutes, one of the two. And yeah, and the Christmas specials sort of act as a season 3 in a weird way. They are 2 sort of episodes. There's just 2 of them. And I think they go for 45-ish minutes, somewhere around that time. And they basically wrap up the story. So at season 2, if you watch it, you can kind of tell that the writers don't know and the producers don't know, is this going to be it? Are we going to produce another season after this? Because it kind of ended, season 2 ended in a way that was like, it really didn't wrap up the story. It really didn't fully explore all of these opportunities. And so you could tell that well, maybe we're going to come back to season 3. And then I think they sort of realized, that no, we're not going to do a whole other season. We're just going to do 2 extra episodes, wrap up the story, and call it a day. And I think that's fine. But yeah, it's got a lot of awkwardness, a lot of sexual jokes. There is an office romance that's chucked in there. A lot of frustration. It does make fun of the office politics, and bosses answering to higher bosses and that sort of thing. And it's also very, very British. It's very British. Now, I myself am not British, and I'm of course by no means by saying, that the show, I didn't like the show, I thought the show was bad because it was British. No, nationality has nothing to do with it. I'm just bringing up that it's British is because it's interesting to look at different, sort of cultural attitudes, when it comes to comparing British shows to American shows. For instance, one of the things I will say is in The Office, in this one, in The Office UK, one of the things that was a lot of situations that involved drinking, going down to the pub after work, grabbing a few drinks, I think the very first scene is some guys talking about how they went out and got smashed and all this sort of thing. So a lot of talk about booze, a lot of talk about clubbing, a lot of talk about grabbing drinks, that sort of stuff. And yeah, other things as well. For example, there's one episode where there's one of the ladies that works there has a birthday, and she goes around asking for office kisses, where she will actually kiss the guys on the mouth. Is that a British thing, or is that just a party girl thing? I don't know, but it happens in here. Yeah. Anything else worth mentioning? Well, it is 14 episodes, and that's it. So, I mean, if you are on the fence about this, I would say see if one of your friends has this, or see if you can get it from, you know what I'm going to say, a second-hand bookshop or DVD shop or something like that. Because, even though, oh wow, look, I've got all these discs, there's really not that much to watch. A lot of it the discs here, I believe, are also special features. But yeah, if you want to give it a go, you can, watch one episode a day. Within a month, you would have finished the whole thing easily, right? However, if you have no sort of, if you have no idea of, oh, will I enjoy awkward humor or not, probably give it a go. But if you know awkward humor, if you know what I'm talking about, and you think, no, I don't like it, save yourself some time and give this a miss. But just so I'm not slandering this off, I will say that in spite of everything I've said, maybe I'm just not the target audience, because this has won many awards. In fact, I think it's won a Golden Globe. It's won 2, actually, Golden Globes. I don't know if that's worth anything, but I will read out the sort of sales pitch that comes on the back of the box. Okay, so every episode of the Golden Globe and BAFTA winning comedy from Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. It's like saying that's what this entails, is what it's got. Have you ever worked for a boss who thought he was the funniest man alive? Have you ever been stuck next to some jobsworth who sucks the life out of you? Have you ever been secretly in love with someone? Did you tell them how you felt? The Office is the comedy phenomenon that reveals the cringe-worthy truth about life in the white-collar world. Follow middle manager David Brett and his family as they work hard, play hard, laugh, cry, fall in love, and perform a dance routine that fuses flash dance with MC Hammer. I will admit I'm very uneducated. I don't know if they're like bands or songs or dances, but flash dance and MC Hammer, if you know what that is, there you go. Every classic moment is here. From David's training day sing-along to the moving finale at the Office Christmas party. After only 2 series and 2 specials, The Office has been declared the defining comedy of its generation and a must-see show for anyone who has ever worked 9 to 5. There you go. Yeah. So, I mean, look, this was made by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who I think are good comedians in their own right. If this is up to you or not, that is your choice, of course. And if you guys are interested